What's up, gamers? Melikan here from MKAU Gaming. As usual, bringing you the latest and greatest in gaming news and reviews. As you can see, we've been sent yet another care package from Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering. And this time it is well and truly taking me down memory lane because while I was in high school, if I wasn't tucked away somewhere in the library during lunch playing Magic the Gathering, I was around at a mate's place playing Final Fantasy VII on his PS1. So I'm really excited for this. And as you can see, we've got quite a few things to go through. We have the Revival Triumphs Commander deck for what do we got? Final Fantasy VI. This is a Mountains, Plains, and Swamp combination deck led by Terra, Herald of Hope. We've also received a 2-deck starter kit. This one looks like it's themed on Final Fantasy VII. So I'm pretty keen for this one. Comes with Sephiroth, the planet's heir, and Cloud, the planet's champion. And then finally, in terms of boxes at least, we have what is probably my favorite way to purchase Magic the Gathering cards, the Final Fantasy bundle. Now this one actually comes with 9 play boosters now. I think previous ones came with 8. But we'll have a bit of a look at those more closely later on, because I'm going to move us across to the bench so that we can check out the booster packs that we received as well. Now, for anybody who is already familiar with how booster packs work, whether it be the play booster or the collector booster, not a huge amount has changed with these, aside from the fact that they're themed around Final Fantasy. So it'll be characters, it'll be locations, it'll potentially be abilities and spells and all that sort of stuff. So basically just think Magic the Gathering with Final Fantasy theming. If you're not familiar with how these work, your play boosters contain 14 cards that are randomly selected. And these, I can't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head, so we are going to struggle to read this on camera together. They may contain certain cards. I don't quite think you can read that because I certainly cannot. But it'll include 1 to 4 cards of rarity, rare or higher. I'm going to grab this one so that you guys can look at this and I can read. Still can't read. Maybe I need to get my eyes checked in my old age. What do we got? 1 to 4 cards, rarity, rare or higher. You're then looking at... Wow, I really cannot read that anymore. There we go. 3 to 6 uncommon, I think that says. And I've just realized that I'm not holding this one in frame for you. I do apologize. And then 6 to 8, I think that says common, and 1 land card. And then there's other percentages, and wow, there are other percentages listed on there as well that I can't read because it's printed and then it's sort of been sealed, and like you can sort of see it on camera, it's a little bit sort of corrugated, so it makes it quite difficult to read. But what I'll do is I'll get the information and I'll pop it up as text somewhere so that you can actually read it properly. And realistically, you do have a chance of getting some, very rare and very expensive cards in these if you are a collector. But that's where the collector packs come in. So these contain 15 cards in total, and you're gonna get to watch me struggle to read this. Oh no, it is actually a little bit easier, so we'll turn it over because it's got the black bit, and hopefully I can get the camera to focus on that and my hand won't be shaky. But it includes 0 to 3 Surge foil cards and 8 to 12 traditional foil cards. So your practically guaranteed that everything in here is going to be a shiny, but you then have a higher chance of receiving the very, very rare cards. So we're talking like your planeswalkers, for example, and the alternative art or the special kind of foil, depending on what they've decided to put into these. And we'll sort of have a bit of a look soon enough. But in terms of rarity, we have 5 to 6 cards of rarity rare or higher. So straight off the bat, you are pretty much guaranteed at least 5 rare cards versus, I think it was 3 to 6 in this. I can't remember now, but again, I'll put graphics up on the screen. And then we have 3 to 6 uncommon cards, 3 to 5 common, and 1 land card. And then neon ink cards in less than 1% of these collector boosters, if I hold it up the right way. So in these collector boosters, there is less than 1% chance of getting a neon ink card. The golden chocobo is in less than 0.1% of boosters. And if you are an international viewer, the card in English language only. So if you do manage to pull it, it's only going to be in English. But it's pretty much going to be the rarest card you'll find, so you're not going to want to play with it. In fact, you're probably not going to want to play with any of the cards that you find in these, because they're shiny. You don't want to scratch the shiny, and especially if said shiny card is particularly valuable. So these are the booster packs that are available. If you are interested in just grabbing a few cards to check them out, head on down to your local gaming store, try and grab yourself some, because this is going to give you the biggest variety of cards that you can get out of this particular series, because they are completely randomized. So moving on, we have the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy bundle, and as you can see, now with 9 play boosters. I mentioned it before, I have a feeling that these previously came with 8. This is one of my favorite ways to pick up bulk loads of cards, especially because a lot of people tend to buy these by the box instead of by the sleeve. But what it means here is inside this box, there's 9 of those. But that's not all you get. And that's a little bit of the reason as to why I like this pack. If we flip it over, we try and hold it away, the camera can see it properly. We also get a bunch of land cards. There's 16 traditional foil and 16 regular basic land cards. I believe these are predetermined as well. I could be wrong with that, but I think it equates to, I can't do maths right now because my brain's just decided to shut down, but you get equal numbers of your plains, your forests, your mountains, so on and so forth. You also get a spin down life counter. Effectively, this is a D20, but again, it is themed towards Final Fantasy. The idea is you start at 20. As you yourself take damage during the game, you roll that down until you get to 1 and then 0. We have our 9 of those, as per here. There's also some 2 traditional foil extended art legends. So I'll zoom in on those in a moment, just so we can have a bit more of a look at those. But they are specific to these packs, I believe. I don't think you can get them in any of these. I could be wrong, but you know exactly which cards you're going to get with that. And then the box, or the case, the card box. If I actually read what it says it is. So that is what I like the most. I'm going to momentarily pause the video so that we can properly zoom in and show you these. And then I'll show you what I mean by the box, because they are not referencing this box. There is another one inside it, and they generally look really cool. So now that we're zoomed all the way in, we can see that we have Sephiroth, the Fabled Soldier, and we have Lightning, the Army of One. So these are a huge finger, but these are our two traditional foil extended art legends. And we'll have a little bit of a look at those very shortly, because I'm going to crack this open. So we are back. Main thing I'm going to show you is those two foil cards and the box. But the number of times I've forgotten this thing exists while recording one of these videos is embarrassing. But if we pull that slip off, well, that tear away off, we can then get into our box. And this here is the card box that it was referring to. We do also get a double-sided, I want to call it a postcard. It's not a postcard, but it's about the right size, which shows our two characters, so Lightning and Sephiroth. I'm not keen on how this was folded and placed in the box. I can kind of understand why they might have done that, but if I actually wanted to put this in a frame or something, it's going to have this crease running down the middle. I'm not too keen on that, but you can't deny that the artwork is incredible. And as always, Sephiroth looks like a badass. I did play a little bit of this one. I can't remember which one that was, but I do remember playing as Lightning at one point. Yeah, wow, my brain's completely fried tonight. Anywho, moving on. As I mentioned, this is our box. And inside our box, well, before I do that, the other side has Sephiroth. The ends have the, I want to call it a castle. I don't actually know what that is. But anyway. And then we have our Final Fantasy on top. These are great because you can buy a whole load of boosters and fit them within here. So you could effectively fill this right up with cards from the Final Fantasy series. But this is where we will actually find our goodies. So we have a big hand in the way. Those and those, can't quite see through them, but they look like they are our mana cards or our land cards. 16 foil, 16 regular. In here, in fact, not just in there, but also in here and here, there as well, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there. We have our 8 booster packs, 14 card booster packs, the exact same ones as I showed you earlier. And then our D20 for our 20 life spin down counter. So we have our Magic the Gathering logo. And then on this side, wow, I can't think of what that's called. And I had a Halloween party where my partner at the time dressed up as the character that carries this around. Yeah, wow. Okay, but anyway, it's got a sort of a pearlescent sheen to it, sort of thing, or maybe not pearlescent, but it looks kind of like because it's got like little glitter and whatnot in there. It sort of gives it a little bit of of that effect. The Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Oh, actually, before I forget as well, because I'm about to pack this up, we do also get a bunch of tokens, as well as these, which I assume are just like card dividers for putting in here. I'm not entirely sure what they are because I've never actually used any of these, and the reason for that is they are quite thin card, and trying to pop them out of here can be a bit of a pain. And the number of times I've accidentally torn up some of the part where it's connected was, yeah, a little bit frustrating. And I've also just remembered that I promised we would have a look at those foil cards. And they are included in this pack from what I can sort of see. So we'll open this one up on camera. This is going to be a bunch of land cards, but if I saw what I think I saw, we're also going to see a couple of extended art cards. So we are definitely seeing a couple of extended art cards. Not the ones that I thought we were going to see though. I must have read things wrong. I'm not sure where these came from. So because of that, I'm just going to scroll through and show you. Maybe you're not guaranteed to get Sephiroth, because these are extended art cards. I do apologize for the misinformation, but I feel like every other time I've opened one of these, the cards that are shown on the box are the ones that you pull out. Still, these are very nice and very cool, and the fact that down here is that nice shiny gold color means this one's a little bit more special. So that is very cool. I'm going to have to very carefully put this one somewhere instead of my normal group. But yeah, check those out. Feel free to pause the video so that you can actually read them. And I'm going to move on to the next box. And now we have our 2-deck starter kit. So we have Sephiroth, the planet's heir, as I mentioned before, and we have Cloud, the planet's champion. These are pre-built decks, coming in at 60 cards each, I'm pretty sure. And then if we have a look at the top, we can see that Sephiroth is Island and Swamp. Cloud is Mountains and Plains. These are pre-balanced. However, there is nothing stopping you from taking the mountains and swapping with the islands, or the swamps and swapping with the mountains, for example, to create your own decks. But you will need to keep in mind that some of these cards will be dual mana cards. So they will be specifically looking for island and swamp in order to play those. So you might want to grab more of those so that you can actually add back cards that you may no longer have access to because you've decided to switch all that stuff around. Now, I normally would not open up one of these, at least not at the moment, but I am going to, because this here, I'm going to do a little bit of a impromptu giveaway. It includes the codes to unlock both decks in Magic the Gathering Arena, which is a digital version of Magic the Gathering that you can play on your mobile phone. But as you can see here, it stipulates that we have 2 ready-to-play 60-card decks. So a great way to either get multiple decks yourself or split it with a friend, because one person can take one deck, one person can take the other. You've got 2 deck boxes, which they are good to begin with, but I would encourage you to go and have a look at the Magic the Gathering card boxes that they sell separately, because they are made out of a plastic material, and they're a lot more sturdy. So I would recommend going and getting some of those. But I promised an impromptu giveaway, so I'm going to find these and I'll be right back. So I did have to open that up a little bit more than I wanted to, but it does give me the opportunity to show you the deck boxes, which are ready to go for your character, but they are just cardboard. So they are susceptible to environmental stress, for lack of a better term. You also get the starter kit play guide, which will give you, I think it gives you a couple of different ways you can potentially play. I still only know the one way, which is awesome, but it also gives me a chance to show you the character cards. And if I can carefully zoom in cinematically, I'll realize that they were not centered. Like that. So we have Sephiroth, the planet's heir, and Cloud, the planet's champion. And the reason I had to open the box a little bit more than I wanted to is because these were packaged inside with the cards behind those. And I can't do a giveaway without them. I've mixed them up. One of them is for Cloud's deck. One of them was for Sephiroth's deck. I know I just pointed at this one and said that one and this one and that one. I don't actually know. But just a little bit of quick housekeeping. If you have already claimed one of these giveaways that I do impromptuly, that is not actually a word, but if you've already claimed one, please try and give other people a chance to pick them up. I will also request that if you do claim one of these 2 cards, please do not claim the other one. If you do manage to claim one, though, let us know in the comments below which one you actually got and where it was on these sides, because I've I have no idea. I mean, if you counted that and they were lined up properly, then you'd know. But I sort of just threw them in my hands and put them off to the side over there and then picked them up and put them down. So I have no idea. But I am going to show the first card, which was on Cloud's side. So get ready to pause the video and good luck. There is your code. Go ahead and claim it. And obviously pause the video so that it will make things easier, because I'm putting it down now. And what I'll do to make it obvious, move Cloud up there, knock the camera, and put that code there. We will then put Sephiroth up here. And again, if you have claimed this, or if you have claimed one of these before, please don't claim this one. Or at least, and I probably should have said this earlier, give it a couple of days and see if that one's been claimed. And look, if nobody claims one within a couple of days, go for it. But this is the redemption code that I had on top of Sephiroth here. So once again, feel free to pause the video, smash that into your app, and good luck. And I hope you've got it, because I'm putting this down now. And probably trying to line things up a little bit more properly, which doesn't matter at the moment because I'm probably going to cut this shortly. But yes, that is our 2-card starter kit, which comes with 2 pre-built decks, our deck boxes specifically to the characters that come in it, being Sephiroth and Cloud and a camera that I've knocked, and then a starter kit play guide. So great way for you and a buddy to get into Magic the Gathering. Once again, if you want one of these, head on down to your local gaming store and snap one up, because Magic the Gathering and Final Fantasy both are extremely popular, and these things are going to sell like crazy. And last but not least, before I crack open a couple of these and one of these, we have our Commander deck. These are a pre-built 100-card deck themed around a particular character and then your mana sources. So this is the Revival Trance, which is mountains, plains, and swamps. And as you can see, it's led by Terra, the Herald of Hope. So we do get this. I think it's an oversized card. Well, maybe not. Why did I think that was an oversized card? Anyway, these are pre-built decks, same as what I've just shown, but these are for playing the Commander version of the game. So once again, they are designed for effectively to jump in and start playing the game. But this is the Commander game, which plays very differently to what I remember. I've heard a lot of people saying it is actually easier than the version that I learnt, but I've never been taught this, and I don't think that it existed when I was playing. But I'll zoom in. You can have a little bit of a read if you want to. Nobody's forcing you to. We'll move that so that we can keep everything as centered as possible. But feel free to pause the video at the moment and read through this if you want to, because we do get a few things. So as mentioned, we get a 100 card deck with 25 new cards. We get a deck box, which is a bigger version of these, I'm pretty sure, because it needs to hold 100 cards, not 60. We also get some double-sided token cards, which we may see when we open some of these. We get a strategy insert. Not entirely sure what that one is. And a reference card, I should say. And then, as you can probably see across the bottom here, the deck features cards themed around Final Fantasy VI. Land cards may appear from other Final Fantasy games. So this particular one is themed around Final Fantasy VI. This is not the only commander deck you can get. This is just the one that we were sent. So there will be other decks. They may all be cards from Final Fantasy VI. Some may be from 7. I'm not sure. It says it on the box. And that's what our box says. But I think it's time to actually make this a full-blown unboxing video and open up, we'll say that one, and that one. But first I'm going to tidy up and zoom out a little bit so that we've got a better shot. And we have our randomly selected cards here. I'm hesitant to open this one. I'm still going to. I don't want to, but I'm going to open it so you can see, get an idea of what you're going to get in one of these if you've never seen or never purchased one of these before. But I'm going to start from the outside, work my way into the center. So, pop these off to the side. We'll make sure that one's still on the outside. And we're going to open this one first. Now, awesome, it has a little tear tab up here, but I always seem to do what I just did then. But that's alright, because it means I can then get my fingers in here and do that. Now, straight off the bat, on this side, we have a art series card. So, if I remember correctly, this does count towards the number of cards in the deck. I'm just going to quickly count that to double check. But, how awesome does that look? Like, Final Fantasy just has incredible artwork. We have our shiny, which is in this case a land card, also known as a foil. And then, somewhat surprisingly, we have another foil card. So that was out of a play booster, which is interesting. Not that I'm complaining. Now, as I'm going through, because I'm going to go through these fairly quickly, feel free, that is a pretty card, feel free to pause the video and have a good read of the cards as I'm putting them in front of the camera. And take in all of that glorious Final Fantasy themed artwork. As always, Magic the Gathering has a whole host of awesome cards and awesome artists that are creating some incredible pieces. So we're almost at the end. I am going to cut the video shortly before I pick up the next box or the next booster pack. There's that one, cornered by black mages. It would help if I held it in frame properly. And then there's that one. With any luck, that cut will look like nothing happened. And the only hint that there was a cut is the fact that I just mentioned it. So I'm going to tidy those up, put those off to the side, and we are going to crack on with the second play booster that I randomly selected. So once again, we have our tear at the top. We can maybe, if we're not being awkward, stick our thumbs in there to open the top up and pull the cards out. And we are going to shotgun round because we have a token first and foremost. It is one of our double-sided cards that I mentioned we might see. So the idea is that these represent what it is they say for when you summon, you know, a 1/1 hero token or a hero creature if you've got abilities like that. But you can also just go, okay, well, this is representing the 2/2 this creature, or at least we used to, or 9 times out of 10 we actually just use random cards, because I also don't remember receiving those in packs when I was in high school. But we have another foil card. We have our shiny card, which this one can double as either a forest or a plains card. We have another shiny card. I'm sure that it said we're gonna get 1 foil. That's in both of those, that's 2. But anyway, as I said before, I like the shiny. Doesn't necessarily mean money, but shiny. Yeah, feel free to pause the video and read the cards, and if there is anything that you see in here that you like, let us know in the comments below. And if you don't see anything that you like, what are you hoping, or who are you hoping that we might see in these? But for now, the only thing we know for certain is what we have seen so far and what is in those pre-built decks. These are also relatively new to me. I've seen them a couple of times doing these unboxing videos, but I don't remember ever seeing cards set up like this. So I don't know how to play these. Feel free to let me know in the comments, because it'd be good to learn. But just as before, some gorgeous cards. And that is the last of the play boosters that I'm going to open up, because I feel like this video is going to go for a while. And again, hoping that you won't notice the cut. We'll tidy these up, and we will move on to the last item that we are opening in this video, which will be our collector booster. We want to be careful with these, because if we are chasing valuable cards, we don't want to damage them. I'm not in this for the money. I like collecting these, especially the fact that they are Final Fantasy and and Magic the Gathering. And as I mentioned earlier, they were my two favorite things during my later high school years. But as I said before, ooh, you probably caught a glimpse of this before. How pretty is that? That one's going to get some special treatment just because it looks awesome. And actually, so is the next one. That is a full-blown extended art card. It's actually got another name, but I can't remember what it is at the moment. But how gorgeous is that? So when I say this is where you get the special cards and the pretty cards, you can see that I mean it. Because this one's not shiny, but it is still a gorgeous card. And I'm just going to repeat, if you want to pause the video and read any of these cards, go ahead. And let us know in the comments below what card was your favorite. Ooh. Ooh. So yeah, we have some beautiful cards. Fortunately, at this stage, no golden chocobo, but there are still some incredible cards. And as we come towards the end of this booster pack, I would just like to thank Wizards of the Coast, Magic the Gathering, and Square Enix for this crossover, because I was very excited for this one. Obviously, because of reasons I mentioned earlier, being Final Fantasy and Magic the Gathering were my two favorite things during high school. So, thank you very much for joining us. Let us know in the comments below, like I said before, which card was your favorite out of what we drew, and what are you hoping that you might pull should you go down to your local gaming store and get a couple of packs. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can be notified when we get more of these, and you can check them out first here. Cheers, guys.